In one of the more intriguing matchups in week 2 of college football, Baylor heads across I-35 to face SMU in Dallas. This is Texas on Texas rivalry. This one matters. It matters for both programs and for the conference's perception in terms of the ACC and the Big 12. This game kicks off at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time at Gerald J. Ford Stadium, and it's going to be on the CW. You can expect warm, muggy conditions. It's going to be hot to start the game, and it is going to be absolutely exciting. The line opened up in this game with SMU favored by 3 points, and the total over-under is in the mid-60s, depending on where you get it. That number actually respects Baylor's revamped offense while giving SMU the rightful home field advantage that they are going to have in this football game. And remember, before we get into it, I'm George Wrighster, former NFL, former college football analyst. Make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, and tell a friend about the show. And thank you for being one of us. Let's get to the game. So Baylor arrives in this game 0-1 after what would be called a frustrating loss versus Auburn because their offense was dynamic and their defense was absolutely atrocious, especially against the run game. Now let's look at the big picture of this whole thing because I talked all offseason about how critical that these non-conference showcases were going to be for the Big 12 if they hope to get multiple playoff bids than just the one that they are automatically granted. And Baylor already squandered one of those shots versus Auburn. And this is the second of 4 games that I have circled for the Big 12 and for Baylor in particular, that if they want true college football playoff relevance for them and the conference, then they have to split those 2 games at a minimum. And the urgency should allow them to show up, run, tackle, fit the run. It should, right? Because if not, it is going to get ugly. And then you got SMU, who was 1-0 after it was a comfortable win that included 2 defensive touchdowns, which makes it very easy to win football games. And now the styles here are completely complementary because you got Baylor. They want rhythm, space under their offensive coordinator, Mr. Jake Spavital, which was able to revive this dead offense a year ago. And now it is continuing to do the same thing. And then you got SMU, who's led by their head coach, Mr. Rhett, Lashlee, and they thrive off of speed and explosives. So this is going to be a game of offense, but it is going to come down to who can get the most defensive stops. Let's go coach versus coach to start this thing. Because you got Dave Aranda over there at Baylor, and then you got Rhett Lashlee. Now, Dave Aranda was on the hot seat coming into last year, and he was able to save everything with a good offense, but it's the defense that was the problem last year, and it has to get fixed. And this game is as much about identity as it is about scheme. Now, Aranda, he did his part last season by hiring Jake Spavital, jump-started the offense, and that did deliver in week 1 of 2025 as well. So now the pressure on Dave Aranda, it actually flips to the side of the ball that he is supposed to carry the weight as a defensive head coach. He came over from LSU as a very highly regarded defensive coordinator. Now, Rhett Lashlee on the other side, he has built a winning machine at SMU, especially at home, by leaning into tempo, developing his quarterback, and I expect him to keep the pedal to the metal early to test Baylor's corrections after getting run all over them by Auburn and Jackson Arnold last week. Now let's look at these 2 quarterbacks. We got Sawyer Robertson for Baylor against Kevin Jennings for SMU. Remember, Kevin Jennings has the experience of going to the college football playoff last year. Now, the contrast between these 2 quarterbacks, it is clear as day. You got Robertson, who is a rhythm thrower, distributor of the football, quick trigger, and then Jennings is more of a playmaker who can stress the defense, particularly when things get off schedule, and his legs are dynamic. Last week, you had Sawyer Robinson. Dude threw for 419 yards and 3 touchdowns against Auburn in a losing effort. That was a hell of a performance. And when Robinson was asked to do RPOs and make some plays with his legs, he did the right things, and he was well with the intermediate throws, and I really liked how he used the entire width of the field. He wasn't just targeting one guy. His spray chart was all over the place in a positive way, because if Sawyer Robinson is kept clean, then Baylor can live in second and medium all day long. So pass rush is going to be key for SMU to win this football game. Jennings, on the other hand, he opened up the season with a 63-yard strike to Romello Brinson on the third snap of the game, and then added 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown as well. And the Mustangs got 2 pick sixes as well, including Ahmad Moses going 95 yards the other way. Now, I love Jennings' confidence and his arm angles and all the things that he did and to get out of trouble in the red zone as well. The interception and a sack fumble sequence, he is going to want that back. He cannot have those types of plays. Now, he doesn't need to get cute here. He just needs to be efficient. Because one of the things that we love about Jennings is being able to play off schedule and make plays. But you cannot turn that into turnovers, trying to get too willy-nilly with the football. Now let's look at Baylor's offense versus SMU's defense. Now, this is Jake Spavital, their offensive coordinator, versus SMU's defensive coordinator, Mr. Scott Simmons. And it is fascinating going to be this chess match because Spavital's offense, it looked like a modern age quarterback friendly just right out of the gate starting last season, going on over into this season. Now their top 3 targets, Cole Wilson, Michael Trigg, and Kobe Prentice, they give Baylor answers at literally every single level. And in my view, Baylor's best path to winning this football game is going to be going fast and in tempo and then stretch the seams and the boundary quarterbacks once SMU widens out and gives them that opportunity. SMU secondary is going to come into this game against Baylor. They're going to be riding high, swagger big because they had 2 pick sixes in the last game. And with Cameron Robertson and Terry Webb off the edge, if they can provide enough pressure in this game to disrupt Sawyer Robertson and keep him off schedule, and that is without blitzing. I'm talking about 4-man pressure and keep 2 high safeties over the top to keep them and Sawyer Robertson from taking deep shots. Then SMU is going to be in a really, really good spot. I do lean initially slightly towards Baylor's passing game because they are going to be in rhythm, and you have Jake Spavital, who is elite at calling plays and sequencing easy throws. But if SMU gets pressure, it is going to swing the leverage of this game right back over to SMU. Now let's look at SMU's offense versus Baylor's defense. SMU's offensive coordinator, Casey Woods, and their co-offensive coordinator, Rob Likens, and their quarterback coach used to be phenom over there at Miami, Derek King. Now, they're all against the room, and they are going to be trying to put a game plan together against Baylor's defensive coordinator, Matt Powledge, and of course, Dave Aranda as well. Now, my initial thing is, of course, SMU wants to press the pace, Rhett, Lashlee, all of those things. But the obvious thing is staring you right in your face. Baylor's defense allowed 307 yards rushing to Auburn last week and produced just 1 single solitary tackle for loss. Now, this ain't about scheme. This is about tone setting. And if Baylor does not fit the run on first down, then SMU is going to be like, run it again. And then once you start going down hard on the run, glance routes, skinny posts, and touchdowns is what that is going to open up, and you are going to give up a ton of points. Now, they have to fix the run before anything else. Now, SMU's biggest question coming into the season was who was going to fill the void at running back for them, and they already got the answer in week 1. They got Chris Johnson Jr., he gave him some juice. And then you got Inglewood's finest, Mr. TJ Harden, is a sturdy compliment to him as well. It is going to be good. Now, on the perimeter, you got Brinson, the wide receiver, who is a vertical threat and had an absolutely dominant game last week. Now, if I were SMU's offensive coordinator, Mr. Woods, you know what I would do? I would go tempo, fast pace to start the game and just keep running the football because Baylor is going to be trying to get their fits right and talk and communicate. And if you can speed that process up, they will have to be vanilla as possible and you will be able to run all over them. One coaching point for SMU's quarterback, Mr. Jennings, take the layups, Kevin, take the layups. Because the only way that Baylor flips this script and beats SMU is if they get gifted turnovers and extra possessions. That is the only way at this point in time. But if Jennings plays on time, SMU structure and play creativity will give them explosives organically without having to force them. The X factors and the keys to winning. So for SMU, there are 2 X factors that are going to decide the game for me. First, unforced turnovers. You can't not take comfortable drives and then turn them into uncomfortable situations for your defense. Ball security and no hero ball throws for your quarterback. And then second, on the defensive side, they have to get pressure without blitzing. That is imperative. So you got Rebb and you got Robertson. They can squeeze the pocket and get pressure without blitzing. SMU is going to have a tremendously good time playing this football game. Now on the Baylor side, this is pride check time for Dave Aranda, pride check time for this defense, pride check time for anybody associated with them, because they have been run over last week by Auburn. They got ran over last year on the defensive side as well. They got to get off blocks, they got to tackle better, and everything in between. And then offensively, they have to keep Sawyer Robertson clean, because Jake Spavital's offense is going to do what it do if you can keep the quarterback clean, because it's not like Sawyer Robertson is Kevin Jennings in terms of athleticism. So let's talk about the predictions in this game, because SMU's defense is going to be the key to winning this football game. Because last week, Baylor, 419 yards passing, and then Baylor wasting that in terms of a victory, that is going to be the difference in winning this football game. So I believe Baylor's offense is real, and they are real good. But I am going to take SMU 34, Baylor 27. Now, I expect SMU to cover that small number at home of 3.5, depending on where you look. And I think the total lands right around the mid-60s where the line is. So depending on turnovers, enter at your own risk. Now, if SMU plays smart, fast, and loose, they're going to reestablish themselves in terms of a top 15 conversation and a secondary bid for the ACC, even if they aren't able to win it. Now, if Baylor is able to steal the upset, though, it is because Dave Aranda's defense turned skill into will, into the gut check, and got tackles for loss. But I'm picking SMU. You guys, thank you for watching. I'm George Wrighster. Make sure you like, subscribe, get notifications, and tell a friend about the show. Peace out. Catch you guys later, and be one of us.